for Speed Racer. Now, Speed Racer, I never watched the cartoon at all. But the movie is interesting because it was directed or created or written or whatever by the Wachowskis, who are the same former brothers, now sisters, who created the original Matrix and the movie V for Vendetta. Alright, so Speed Racer is a 2008 sports action comedy film written and directed by the Wachowskis. It's based on the 1960s manga and anime series of the same name. Oh, that's tight. I didn't know they had a manga for Speed Racer, but that makes complete sense. It starred Emily Hirsch, Christina Ricci, John Goodman. He was pretty cool in it. Susan Sarandon, Matthew Fox, Roger Allen. I don't know a lot of these. Benno Furman, Hiroyuki Sanada, Rain, and Richard Roundtree. The plot revolves around Speed Racer. That's his name. His last name is Racer. An 18-year-old automobile racer who follows his apparently deceased brother's career, choosing to remain loyal to his family and their company, Racer Motors, which caused difficulty after he refuses a contract that E.P. Arnold Royalton, owner of Royalton Industries, offers him. So he doesn't want to sell out, basically, to the big brother. A live-action Speed Racer film had been in development since 1990. And so this is Wikipedia, and it says a live-action, I guess because anybody can write it. But it actually says a live-action Speed Racer film had been in development, since 1992, having changed actors and filmmakers until in 2006, when producer Joel Silver and the Wachowskis collaborated to begin production on Speed Racer as a family film. It was shot in and around Potsdam and Berlin from June to August 2007. Shout out to 07, baby. Class of 07. Michael Giacchino composed the film's score. Shout out to Louis Beats Productions for most of the beats that I use on the podcast. I forget to put it into the credits and the description of them most of the time. And I love you, man. Thank you for making all these beats. One I'm gonna use soon on a new upcoming project. For sure, at least one. So it came out, it premiered on April 26, 08. 08, I love 08 too, because when my son was born. Followed by its general theatrical release on May 9th, 08 by Warner Bros. The film grossed I almost wanted to say that joke that used to be on a lot of t-shirts. It was like the Warner Brothers symbol, and then it was like, if you see the cops, Warner Brother. The film grossed $93 million on a $120 million budget, making it a failure. It was subsequently nominated in multiple categories at the Teen Choice Awards as well as the Golden Raspberry Awards. Upon initial release, the film received mixed reviews, who praised the action sequences, musical score, cinematography, performances. Critics were divided on its overuse of computer-generated imagery and criticized its screenplay and runtime. In subsequent years, Speed Racer has garnered a strong cult following, with some commentators calling it underrated and a misunderstood film. Speed Racer is a young man whose life and love has always been automobile racing. His parents, Pops and Mom, run the independent Racer Motors, in which his brother Spriddle and his pet Chim Chim, I don't even remember the monkey in the movie, his mechanic Sparky and his girlfriend Trixie are also involved. As a child, Speed idolized his record-setting older brother Rex Racer, who apparently was killed while racing in the Casa Cristo 5000, a deadly cross-country rally race. Now embarking on his own career, Speed is quickly sweeping the racing world with his skill behind the wheel of his brother's Mach 5 and his own T180 car, the Mach 6, although primarily interested in the art of race and the well-being of his family. He's not really worried about winning. He doesn't give a fuck about that. He's a simple man. Humble. So one day, E.P. Arnold Royalton, CEO of conglomerate Royalton Industries, offers Speed an astoundingly luxurious lifestyle, basically for selling his soul. in exchange for signing a race with him. Though tempted, Speed declines because his father's distrust of power-hungry corporations. Angered, Royalton reveals that for many years, key races have been fixed by corporate interest, including himself, to gain profits. Royalton takes out his anger on Speed by having his drivers force Speed into a crash that destroys the Mach 6, and suing Racer Motors, I keep saying Motors, for intellectual property infringement. Speed gets an opportunity to retaliate through Inspector Detector, head of an intelligence agency's corporate crimes division. Racer Taijo Togokan supposedly has evidence that could indict Royalton, but will only offer it up if Speed and the notorious mass racer X agree to race on his team in the upcoming Casa Cristo 5000, which could also substantially raise the stock price of his family's racing business, blocking a Royalton arranged buyout. Speed agrees, but keeps his decision secret from his family. And Detective's team makes several defensive modifications to the Mach 5 to assist Speed in the race. I think I'm ready to take a sip of this now. After they drive together and work naturally as a team, Speed begins suspecting that Racer X is actually Rex in disguise. His family discovers that he has entered the race and agree to support him, though Pops is angry with him for not asking permission to race earlier. With his family and Trixie aiding him, Speed defeats many brutal racers who are bribed by Fixer Crunch Block to stop him and overcome seemingly insurmountable obstacles to win the race, while Detective's team arrests Block. However, Teijo's arrangement is revealed to be a sham, as he's only interested in increasing the value of his family's company to profit from Royalton's buyout. Enraged, Speed hits the track that he used to drive with his brother and confronts Racer X with his suspicion that he is Rex. He removes his mask, revealing an unfamiliar face, and tells Speed that Rex is indeed dead, but advises Speed to not let racing change the way he is and figure out his own driving. Speed returns home and plans to leave, but Pops expresses his pride in Speed's actions and that he was wrong to not let Speed into the race since his own stubbornness drove Rex away, before finding out about the race-fixing conspiracy. Alright, so the family bands together, they build a new Mach 6 in 32 hours. Speed enters the Grand Prix against great odds. Royalton has placed a $1 million bounty on his head that other drivers are eager to collect, and is pitted against the future Hall of Fame driver Jack Cannonball Taylor. Okay, I'm almost done with what it's about and shit. Speed overcomes a slow start to catch up with Taylor, who uses a cheap device called a spearhood to latch Mach 6 to his own car. Speed uses his jump jacks to reveal the device to video cameras, causing Taylor to crash and lose. Speed wins the race, having successfully exposed Royalton's crimes. While Racer X watches, a flashback montage reveals that he really is Rex, having faked his death, attending his own funeral, and undergone plastic surgery. We just talked about plastic surgery earlier. To change his appearance as part of his plan to protect Speed in racing. He chooses not to reveal his identity to his family, declaring that he must live with his decision. The Racer family celebrates Speed's victory as Speed and Trixie kiss. Teijo testifies against Royalton and Block, and Royalton is sent to jail for his actions. Yo, it's a great premise, and it was shown to me by Vino, because like, they were like really, like, there's conspiracy theories about why they may have possibly changed genders for protection. Because they did some really intelligent, real world, I'm talking about conscious shit. So they've been planning a movie since '92. In '95, I thought this was interesting. In '95, Johnny Depp was cast in the lead role. But he couldn't do it, and they gave it up. '97, they tried to do it. September 2000, they hired some people. They hired Hype Williams to take the helm of the project. Interesting. In June 2004, Vince Vaughn spearheaded a revival of the project. Vaughn was cast as Racer X and was also attached to the project as an executive producer. I think it would have been a lot funnier if Vaughn was in it. I was just telling my son about Vince Vaughn, about Dodgeball. In 2006, the Wachowskis were brought on board by the studio to write and direct the film. Producer Joel Silver, who had collaborated with the Wachowskis for V for Vendetta and the Matrix trilogy, explained that they were hoping to reach a broader audience with a film that would not be rated R by the Motion Picture Association of America. Visual effects designer John Gaeta, who won an Academy Award for Best Visual Effects for the Wachowskis' The Matrix, was brought in to help conceive making Speed Racer into a live-action adaptation. Production was set to begin in summer of 2007, and my graduation, in European locations for a summer 2008 release, my son's birth. In November of 2006, the release date for it was set for May 23rd, 2008. Producer Joel Silver described Speed Racer as a family film in line with the Wachowskis' goal to reach a wider audience. Wake people up. So there was a possible sequel discussed. In 2008, the possibility was contemplated. They wrote, long story short, they wrote a script in 2018. So since this shit takes years and years and years to make, there's a possibility that it might come out in a few years or something. That'd be pretty tight. Yeah, man. Now that I read about it again and thinking about it, I mean, it's pretty good. I give it a 4.5. It's pretty amazing. All right, we got one more section, and I gotta answer some text.